Well, hello everybody, I'm Jasper Bos from NS. I used to be a programmer, and then I got a shot in the knee and became involved with continuous delivery. I started doing that last year while I was still a developer, Java developer, working on the travel planner, and I did that more and more and more, and then this year I started doing continuous delivery full time. I coach other teams to do what I used to do. And I'm going to tell you today about what we did last year and how we're planning on and already doing it this year, making it the new standard. Let's start with the thing that was said here. What's a POC? Does everyone know what a POC is, or a POC?
Proof of concept? Proof of concept?
Proof of concept, yes. Who here has ever made a proof of concept? And who of you had management put it into production against your will?
Rings a bell, rings a bell.
I did it myself.
It's not supposed to go into production. No.
That's what they told me.
Actually, something years back at ING, before they were famous and cool and very continuous delivery like, we had a couple of programs that were actually the backbone of the whole customer management system, and they were all proof of concepts. They were made without looking into performance, how many users are going to use this, and that was pushed into production by management, and then 2 years later they were like, why isn't this performing, and this is terrible, how could you do that?
I didn't do that.
But last year we had the chance with 5 teams to start experimenting with continuous delivery, and we started making POCs, and we were the ones put them into production, because with continuous delivery you can do that, because you don't have to wait 2 years before improving your performance or stuff like that. And what we did was create all kinds of solutions for doing continuous delivery, using the standard service that we already have at the NS, and we got a new solution called the NS Cloud, which is actually just Azure with the NS layer over it. And we even had people getting out their own credit cards and just connecting to Amazon to deploy their code there. And every 2 weeks we gathered here or in Amersfoort to show each other what we were creating. But the teams were doing that themselves. Most of them weren't even including ops in it, and going into the year, fall somewhere, we started going to ops and listen, this is what we're gonna do, and they were like, no. This is our run environment, and what you're doing there, that's just experimentation. It's not gonna happen. But at the end of the year, every team was thinking, well, we created the best solution ever, and we're gonna continue doing this. But we forgot that thing that we hated management for in the past. We didn't think about 24/7 support for our tools. We didn't. Well, we thought about performance for the 5 users that we had, and we didn't plan for the 100,000 users. And sometimes that doesn't matter, because if you're on a cloud platform, they worry about the performance. But yeah, this was the future in our minds. But then at some point we started realizing, oh, you can't change the world like that. Not in that short amount of time. So we started thinking about what are the lessons learned, and how can we apply that to our real server landscape. And this is the new Intercity. It's been presented last year. It's gonna slowly replace the koplopers, the ones with the bump on the head. What we need is we have the main server park of the NS. It's called the UH2. Gonna come back again, so that's why I'm naming it. There's 650 applications and APIs running on that, and they need to run there because we made agreements on performance, security, availability, and we made an agreement that everything with a high availability has to be there. And that has some drawbacks because we got an outside company maintaining our servers. KPN is doing that for us, and well, they're not moving as fast as we want them to. But that's why still folks out there that are using the cloud. And I think that in 2-3 years, once the contracts start running out, we'll start moving away from KPN altogether, I think. This is what used to happen. We had a dev team automating everything and being all continuous delivery and up till test. And then we made a package that we delivered through Jira with a link to it to ops, and here, that's yours now. Have fun with it. And then he deployed it to the UH2.
And then it's crushed.
Well, if something happened here, that's their problem. There was absolutely no ownership of the application by the dev teams up till that something really in the code was broken, and the ops could find us. But there was no ownership of the application, at least not shared, because the dev team didn't care about what happened in production, and the ops team, well, as long as it's running, it's not our problem. Nobody's owning it.
If it ain't broken, don't fix it.
Yeah, and if it's not broke, don't update it because that will break it. The old ops thing. And what I really would have liked is some of you here jumping up. Well, that's not how that works. I would really like to see more ops people in the audience here. But alas,
Every change is an incident. Every change request.
So this is a very tuned down picture of what we're making now. I can show you the actual picture real fast, but sorry, 2 screens.
Oh.
That's the actual picture, but that's boring. Where's my mouse? There we go. The easier version. We use Bitbucket, or we check into our code into that triggers a hook to our CI server, which is Jenkins, and we put a slave on our in our deployment environment, and that uses Ansible script to deploy to the different environments. As I listened to the talk before, apparently we're not doing DevOps because Bitbucket, Jenkins, that's all tool support. We got a team that handles all the administration of those tools. It's not the dev team, not the ops team. It's a separate tool support team. And they, together with KPN, supply these servers What we do combine here, we do work together. So the Toolsport team, the product team, so that's DevOps, it's development and ops, and KPN together to create this. But this is not the same team. But some people might argue that DevOps, you don't need to be in the same team.
I agree. I agree. Plus one.
Jasper,
Yes.
Toolsport is facilitating us with
Yeah.
tools,
Yes.
and we are responsible for deploying our, eventually, for deploying our business functionality
Yes.
into production. So that's DevOps, isn't it?
I think so. Just referring to
Well,
the
we have
talk.
the same situation. So,
Yeah.
and we claim to have DevOps continuous delivery as well. So
Yeah.
that's
No, but there was a discussion saying, well, if you don't do the database yourself, you're not DevOps. But maybe I'm charging you.
I'm glad that they are.
Oh, I'm
because
immensely glad. Because in our old situation for development and test, we had our own server with our own sonar and our own Nexus, and we do maintenance on that as well. And our sonar cube is way out of date, but we can only upgrade it after we upgrade MySQL, and we can only upgrade that after we upgrade Jenkins. Red Hat, and nobody feels like doing that because we're developers. We're not.
Should be a commodity.
So we're very glad that we got the team doing that for us, and they're happy to do it for us. And I think that's a great separation of concern there. But well, once we started doing this, and let's kind of hinted at it. Wait, are we doing DevOps now? Well, I do believe that we're doing DevOps now. Because we're working together, we're finding each other, and since going back to this here, this is Dev's work, and the Ansible script, that's ops doing that. But before going to prod, this can only happen after the product owner says okay. So we don't have continuous deployment yet. We have a product owner saying, well, I trust this. This can go to production. So that's this whole pipeline is owned by us all, and we all care about this whole pipeline. There's no longer dev handing it over to ops, and ops don't caring about the program as long as it's running okay. Everybody's caring about it, and we see that by all the monitors coming up at the floor, which show amount of users, what's happening with the builds, memory usage. We got ops sitting right in the middle of our big room, surrounded by 6 development teams. It's one big happy family.
Big fence.
No, they're right in the middle of it. Oh yeah, we can be attacked from all sides.
electric fences.
Well, sometimes that's needed, because if you're seriously, if you're an ops guy and you've got a problem in run, and there's some devers coming to you, well, we'd like to do this in test, and can you help it? Don't get lost, I'm busy here. The whole world is falling apart. See this other dever here next to me? He's helping me. Why aren't you part of the solution? That's the downside of it. Having ops so close to your dev teams is a way for dev to start bugging them at the wrong times.
Give the dev people pagers. Pager duty for dev teams.
Pay your duties?
Pager duties.
Yeah.
So how did it evolve that they came next to the
Yeah.
teams?
So 2 years ago, they were still quite close, and then somebody decided, well, run and change is completely different. We need to put all the run people together, and we're gonna move them to Amersfoort. Luckily, that didn't happen. They just got moved to the 8th floor, and we lost contact with them. If you got a problem, you don't go to the 8th floor. You need to take the elevator. There was actually a door that you needed to knock on because it was coded and our passes didn't work on it. I'll figure it out myself. Who needs ops, right? And that didn't work. So that's why we brought them down to the 2nd floor where we are all sitting. And that's just one small DevOps part of our whole organization. I'm using examples from all throughout the NS, and the examples I use for the 6 teams with ops. That's actually only everything on ns.nl, because our IT environment is a lot bigger than that. Some of it you can see here, some of it just behind the window. We've got the ticket machines, we've got the computers at the Bali, where you can just do it the old-fashioned way. We got the signs over the platforms. Yes, thank you. That need to be coded. We got the very big environment where trains get redirected throughout the day after something goes wrong. Which barely ever happens.
In the hypothetical case
Purely hypothetical. Yesterday we had kind of a problem that our own network was down, and then trains started going down and we couldn't redirect them because our system was down. That's, yeah, that's the reason why. Well, actually, not the 5 hours delay, that was ProRail, that wasn't us. That's our biggest problem. We get blamed the most. Because, to be fair, people get their ticket with us, so if you got a problem, it's with us. If we got a problem with somewhere else behind us, that's our problem. And I get that.
Familiar like development and ops.
Actually, no, but but don't forget that in the trains there's software as well. So we got a big organization, and we're trying to do DevOps. We're trying to do continuous delivery, and I think we're getting better at it. And I think it will definitely help our customers. And we're now at the point where we get information from forums, from Twitter, from usability that we have on our website, for people telling us what they want, and we can deliver it to them within 2 weeks. And that used to be a half a year. So, and we're seeing that in our customer
satisfaction reports.
Yes, those KTMs. And that's important for us because we want to stay the main train in the Netherlands. Dus next year we're gonna be evaluated because we got an SLA with the government, and then we're not good enough. You're gonna get Italian trains. So next time anyone asks you what do you feel about the NS? Any questions? That's a lot.
Why do you exactly run your acceptance tests?
I totally forgot that. Acceptance test. Depends on the team doing it. We would like to do most of them in the test environment, and then everything that needs to be performance checked, that we do on the acceptance. What I forgot to tell here is that we do automated testing after each deployment. We do automated functional testing. We do visual testing where we make screenshots of the website to compare them. And we do smoke testing as well.
Sounds like 100% automated testing.
If we zoom into a couple of teams, yes. But same as your 50 teams, not every one is but we're trying to do better. There's a couple of teams that already have it covered. And what I didn't show here is that there's also Sonar and Nexus IQ running here. Nexus IQ is a tool that checks if all your libraries, be it Maven dependencies or NPM dependencies, if everything is secure enough. Once we started doing that, we discovered that we have 15-year-old libraries that we use. They're really aged, but yeah, the only thing the program told us, well, it's older than 2 years, you should replace it, but there's no reason to actually. But we did discover some issues.
How much knowledge do you have about the environment that KPN gives you? Do you only have an API, or do you even know stuff about the hardware that everything's running on? I mean, meltdown should have affected something.
Me as a sort of dever, I don't know a lot about that because that's from the wall kind of situation. But ask this question to one of our officers and they can tell you everything up till the name of the server. It's called Betsy or something like that. I don't know. They do know it, and that's why we need to keep them in our teams, not just automate them, but encapsulate them.
Are there plans to move all that knowledge into an API like Kubernetes, for example? To just separate those
KPN, I think, is starting to become more agile and actually do that, where we can just get a new server through an API. But that's future talk.
They can do it.
Developing their own service on top of Kubernetes.
Well, you
Yeah.
need to implement the API. So.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
maybe what
again,
they
there
do,
are
they do.
teams that are using the cloud and they are doing that already. And they're, for now, they're, I think, still a bit cowboy-like. But I do believe that, there's one standing next to you, I do believe that they hold the future. Once higher management sees what they are doing is safe, is fast, is better, and I think KPN isn't in the building for very
Yes,
long.
we are doing it. We are running our APIs in Amazon, and it's our own subscription. It's not a KPN subscription or someone else. But we are doing it to learn from it. So
Yeah.
I am covered by management.
Yeah, I said sort of cowboys, and I think that no, but you guys are showing that to management that it can happen fast and safe and cheap, and that is the future. Because we have still.
Something. I don't think.
We still have these meetings every 2 weeks, and management is there, so they see one presentation going. Well, we had this ID last week, and we spun up some servers, and it's in production now. And here's our login showing how many people are using it. And after that, there's KPN telling, well, we brought our 3 months back to 10 weeks.
Say what?
Next time present the differences between KPN farm and or
Don't want to be too bitchy, but it's the guys at KPN helping us make these settings. They're great guys, and they know what we want, and they want to cooperate, and so
it's just their management then.
maybe, yeah.
It's both of them.
No, but inside KPN, completely different departments. They're doing cloud work, so it's not that they don't know it's there, but
Right. No, I did a workshop with them today.
yeah.
Well, depends on your contract.
Yeah, and then yeah,
Get a contract that's like an API, then you're a lot better off.
maybe
Takes time.
next year.
Okay, contract as a service.
I have a question about the Ansible scripts. Maybe.
Yes.
So, what are they used for? And then, who writes them? Because Do they just deploy stuff, or do they?
For example, yeah, kick off the testing and stuff like that. They're quite powerful, and you can keep it very simple. Just deploy this and add to it. And what we're doing now is we've got an Ansible expert in the room, and he's working together with our ops team to have them learn how to do it. So that's just because Ansible is automating what they are doing now manually. If we can teach them how to do Ansible, that'll make their work more fun and more easy.
Makes them keep their jobs.
Yeah.
Do you feel a lot of pushback from ops because I don't program, so I don't do this stuff?
No, actually, they're quite fascinated by it because at the end of the day, nobody likes to do competitive stuff. Yeah.
Well, there are messages.
Repetitive.
Repetitive, yes.
Yeah. Next
Depends on the ops person.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Sorry.
Depends on the ops person.
Some people like
Yeah, that's still, yeah. The world's changing, and it's changing away from the world that ops knows, and most ops people like to keep change at a minimum. But yeah, it's just like sharpening scissors or collecting potato shields. Sometimes it just goes out of fashion, out of style, and you gotta find a new job.
It's coming up again.
This model, is it also used for the vending machines, like for ticket machines?
No,
Albert?
no,
Nope.
no, it's not the same.
Because you don't.
We are introducing Ansible, and the difference, the vending machines is hardware.
Yeah.
You can touch it. It's there, so it's yes, and it's always a bit different. That's my problem because we are doing showcases with the server applications, and then there's me with ticket vending machines, the service desk. It's always different, and it doesn't fit into this. Yeah.
We did do the
Blueprints
intake
that are created.
for Bali today, so that's the computers the people at
Service
Bali
desk.
use, service desk.
Yes.
And they are thinking about using this part,
Yes.
that's part, because this deployment sequence is different. Let's say for car
So
machines.
at the end of this year, we are deploying all the three environments in the same way, fully automated. Now there's the splitting between events between test and wall between test and acceptance and production. We have our run organization.
Is the main thing stopping you people, or
I think yes, people.
Management people.
Yeah, the problem is split and change and run. That's a big problem, and they are responsible for run for the run
Yeah.
things. That's
Yeah,
a
but
problem.
that's the whole point. With Netflix, every developer has pager duty.
Mhm.
What happens now with the that started last year is that they combine the KPIs. So you've got your run, you've got the silo run, the silo development, and they have their own KPIs, change versus stability. They're combining them now, so that these worlds are coming together. So it's a dialogue. It has been started. It's not a technique. It's really the people who need to start to and come to the common understanding.
And what you see for the team from the service desk, they think, oh, we can do it ourselves, the developers, and they can, I think, but then they have the problem that they want to go to acceptance of production, and if they are not involving the ops guys, then there's a problem. Then we won't go further than test and test it.
And I think there's still a lot of knowledge at ops that we can use personally.
Yeah, my ops guys.
Discussion is good, and Next time Albert will give a presentation and then BNS is a completely different company. So this is just my view. And yeah, do DevOps. Get your certificate. Just messing with Mark.
Deploy fast, deploy often.
Anyone here that thinks that with DevOps you don't need ops? Yes?
I have my own opinion.
You can dream.
If you got the right mentality, I used to do ops at Cadastro for more than 10 years,
Yeah.
and I automated deployments
Yeah.
with Point Shell, and I think I produced more lines of code than many Java developer, and now I'm also developing Java, so not much difference from it. It's just a mindset you have.
Yeah, it's almost the same thing. It's just a different layer of abstraction.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the good thing about a DevOps team is that you can share your way of thinking of abstracting things. As you have in Java your UML, your object thinking, and your way of structuring your code, which in the scripting layers for hardware and OSs, and it's not there. So you can
It depends.
in the thinking, I mean.
Right, yeah, because scripting layers, I mean, I do my bare metal deployments with things like Rust and Go, and people wouldn't think that it would be a scripting language. So
Yeah, but I mean the mindset of the officers in general is not thinking in object-oriented ways.
right, yeah.
So it helps to combine them in a team, so you can make use of the way of thinking and how you structure your scripts for hardware, which might still be scripts, maybe with or without layers. But
Yeah, I get what you
how do you do version control? Many officers just don't know.
A long time ago, with OS2, they tried to get objects into the script.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you know what happened to that.
Right. Thank you.